Hi, I'm here to present this new collection, this first collection of poetry for myself called Songs of Xanthina. I guess just to talk a little bit about the book and its conception, some of the ideas and the structure of the book. I just want to say a big thank you to Aaron for taking on the book and for this really great cover that he designed, and also the book inside. It looks great. It's really clean, and it's able to translate how I imagined it, which is always what you hope for, really. So just about the book. It's a collection of poetry. The previous 3 books that I've done, it's poetic prose, but this is actual poems, with the contents, like a real book. And in 3 sections, I think so far quite clear structure in books, and that's usually informed how the book works and helps offers clues maybe to navigate it, if that makes sense. And I guess that maybe takes me to the book because it is spatial in a sense. There's actual diagrams of rooms, for example, you see, which in a sense are kind of like visual poems, and correlate to the whole journey of the book, which is in 3 sections, and there's 3 figures that navigate through the book, which are 3 priests of Cybele, a goddess basically, who had a cult of followers and priests. And I guess the original conception of the book was there's a site where was believed to be an entrance to the underworld in ancient culture, and it was thought that you could pass through there to the underworld, basically, to Hades, or Pluto, as in the book. The book takes from both Greek and Roman culture, and I kind of wanted to have a bit of a magpie approach, where if things I liked, I'd bring into it. I will read from the book. The titles are all in Latin, so I think it would be unfortunate for me to try and say them. I'll let more informed people read those words and say them better than me. It takes from a lot of different things. But mainly from Greek and Roman culture and mythology. And as I say, this entrance into the underworld, there's stories of animals or priests going in and dying, and I think it was assumed that it was a magical force, but actually there was poisonous fumes coming from inside the tunnel, which is unfortunate. So sorry, I've had a really bad viral infection this week, so I can't quite speak, so trying to read the poems might be a bit tricky, but we'll see. Where was I? So I guess yes, the book is kind of a reflection on what if this portal, this entrance, the long title of the book is Songs of Xanthina, heard upon entering plutonium, (gate to hell). So the book is a kind of questioning what would have happened if the priests, 3 that I chose, who were eunuchs, and that was part of the cult and celebrated, what would have happened if they'd actually made it through and I guess the romantic idea is if they'd gone separate ways, and in 3 parts the book follows each priest. The first one faces a corridor of Hypnos, which is the god of sleep. The second one faces the corridor of Eurynomos, which is a demon and devourer of rotten corpses. And then the third one is the third eunuch faces the corridor of Error, which is the goddess of delusion and ruin. So yeah, I guess again taken from both Roman and Greek, and yeah, trying to imagine what the navigation of underground spaces, and the poems do relate to some of those gods and figures there, and I guess to say as well, there are sections in the book which have a little bit of poetry prose in, which are more explicit about that, and also each one has a chorus, as you can see. So again, just taking from kind of Greek tragedy, and just playing with those forms a little bit. And I guess, you know, growing up reading certain, like Choose Your Own Adventure, kind of Dungeons and Dragons, and kind of playing with, you know, more spatial kind of forms of literature, which I find interesting, and read more of now. So I guess, yeah, maybe I'll just, I'm just gonna have a drink of water. Maybe I'll just try and read like a loose selection of a few from each of the 3 sections. So maybe I'll just read, there's a prologue and there's an epilogue as well, but maybe I'll save that for you to read if you decide to buy the book. So the prologue is 3 eunuchs of Cybele, dressed in white robes, approach the entrance of the Plutonium, a gateway into hell. They move through deadly fumes and follow a line of yellow rose petals to a junction of 3 corridors. They kiss each other on the cheek and make their separate ways, hoping one will fall into the arms of Pluto. And each section, like this is H for Hypnos, and it's endlessness. Again, following the idea of sleep, I guess. And here is the introduction for that section, which is Eunuch 1 faces the corridor of Hypnos, god of sleep. Stood upon a black and white checkerboard floor, the beautiful god holds a black lily to his lips. So the first poem here, you can see, again, real poems, a real book. So yeah, the first one. Midnight like a pale door, the window open, a bird cloaked in blood, oaks still, the night beyond. And maybe I'll just go straight on and just read this next one here. She spat out her teeth, and the enormous Grecian sun, grand, selfish, like a silver ball kept still, Galdacraft of Saturn. The devastation was perfect as she crossed the empty street and swallowed back all the empty, accurate tears she learned from a charcoal fool. The arrogant priest had sent the body of Christ covered in cobras and returned to Carsison, speaking in tongues, an orange star painted in the morning stream, baptized in love as morning fell in the bright, cool water, a pig's bladder sewn onto fronds of blonde hair, her hatred given a shape, a face, a voice. Sister of Seth, goddess of air, we weep in lavender at the feet of Nepenthes. This one here. To see him again and question oneself about the shape of an avenue screaming in violet flowers, killed with bleach poured into their open mouths. What does it mean for pleasure to exchange forth the friendship of men? We make love in a bed crashed with vultures drenched in envy. I could love you in a house in the imagination where Sharon sits in a yellow room and clouds bitter as paracetamol wait in grey blue shoes. Yep, so let me just think of a few. Let's try this one. A hill beyond the town, where men drive their cars, park and wait for the witch of Endor, pale boy with pewter eyes, red hair and dipped in glass like Cervantes' daydream. The men pull down the inexpensive briefs of an anti-hero and inhale the rotten Thames. A hand reaches through the car door to write the first word of demonology. The paradox of the hill beneath the hill, his red pubic bone tickled like fire. King James I, taking the throne in 1603, turns to the doorway, deeper the darkness, felt the spectre enter his skull and stayed very still. Okay, I'll just move into the next session. Okay, here's one. Let me just have a sip of water. Transylvania gone wrong, sent into Los Angeles glowing red with methane and cobwebs. A stranger in the back seat switches places with fog. I am a jealous castle. A light on in the bedroom as we hide from the obnoxiousness of furniture. The stranger's hand upon a phone filled slowly with a thundercloud. A man falls asleep inside a rented room in the Danish countryside. So yeah, a lot of them at times take from books and films and, as I say, mythology. There's lots of different references. Some of them are quite short, like this one. This one's a short one. A pearl inside an oyster is a lie caught in the lips of a beloved friend. Here's another short one. A vector through England at the end of summer, spilling with red flowers, choked in red seed. I hope for nothing. A single black line from the hand of the tattooist across the shivering chest. Britannia is an angry fish. So yeah, let's find maybe a longer one. Hi again. I decided to do the recording on the one time that the government were sending that strange alarm to everyone's phone, so that was, good synchronicity there, I think. So I'll just finish. I've got a few more minutes, so I'll just quickly... Here's a longer one that I'll try and read. To be born in the purple room amongst the screwing pots, handmaidens with faces like shining moons, crimson and cradled in plum, myrtle, jujube, barley water scattered along the babe, a white line of lead drawn upon the forehead as a charm against a plague flooded through the city. There is an impossible room in Constantinople, its walls and ceilings are lined with Tyrian popper, exquisite death, a skeleton studded with amethyst, bags of scamony and sandalwood, hung from the bottom ribs where the plague had filled his lungs like a crying ball, a pomegranate on his lips. Here's another one. English evil as a vase of white roses. A newsreader holds a microphone to her lips. The BMW like an angel made of pig iron. A black limousine waiting in the parking lot. English evil as a vase of white roses. She blew kisses into darkness and whispered its name. Enemy, enemy. Yeah. There's some that are more surreal, some that are romantic, or take from romantic poetry and things. This one here, a witch. We like witches, don't we? Let's try this one. The witch had changed shape. They left the curtains open and showed their pink cunts to the blank sky that felt nothing. Exploding into green fire, the witch flying above the Tatra mountains, a newborn dipped in molten gold, small hunched room in Poprad, a harlequin duck absorbed into the white light and covered in Neptune's kisses. The witch screamed glass, a candle held still. Ivan IV, Child King, placed in a cage filled with shadows, watched the indigo hand float above the bars. The hand moved like fog above the creaking table, formed skin around the sarcophagus, its ceramic eyeballs filled with blood. Yeah. So maybe find a few at the end. This one's like more of a space science one. Let's go with this. Nightmares come in dreams. When the Apollo 17 landed for a final time and the crew saw their own bodies duplicate in a convex mirror, Commander Eugene Cernan, crying in his tinfoil chamber, reawakens on Gemini 9A. A single tear fallen follows the orbit of a hand like a small star eats the whole of Albuquerque into Silver City, New Mexico. A woman asleep in a hospice in Minnesota dreaming of helium-3. Motion sickness guided them past their own fertility into the low pulse of their small bones. A body splintered apart inside an ordinary bucket, the reflection of a hypothesis caught in its frozen eye. Mercury has no moons, it drifts. Okay, and maybe I've just got time for maybe one more. Well, I won't maybe read the very last one or the last two because I'll let people read them. And the penultimate one is named after the whole collection, Xanthina. Let me think. Okay, I'll just read this last one. The rooms to die in were cleaned better and filled with white adapters that formed a pale radius circle of heaven bleached into the floor. A woman walking all night in Christian sand, played with her mother's hair, spoke of a fire at the end of the sea that stayed with her now, safety. When they approached her mother, she bolted like a horse, and a speedboat moved past the open window, like a white line gobbled into zero. So yeah, I guess, and I'll just finish maybe by reading one of the choruses for this one's to Hypnos here. So, oh Hypnos, fall into dreams deeper than 1,000 nights, wings dipped in forgetfulness. Let the eyes of sleepwalkers fling open and continue to see the world. Your arms hidden in clouds of myrrh, like horses risen in blue smoke, rivers of grey morphine. Let us ingest elegance, the grace of your velocity at each and every dusk, the amnesia of birds as they plummet and crash into ice. So yeah, again, I think I hope that people like it. Again, it's trying to play with structure and offer some more visual elements. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. So again, thank you to Aaron. And I'm sorry that I can't be there this evening. I'm probably in a field camping in Yorkshire, wishing that I was near a shower and not covered in bugs. So yes, thank you again. All the best.